I'll say, Jeremy, did you record? How's everybody's day going? Everybody having a good day? Let me make my adjustments to the camera so y'all can see me better. Can y'all see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay, great. I got some people I need to let in. So if y'all see me walk to the camera, that's me letting people in. All right. We will start in a few minutes.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon. All right, everybody. Like I said before, I'm going to start, 5 minutes after. This is going to be about an hour. And we're going to have a conversation about, making sure we got the business set up. Make sure we got our business set up going in 2021. So we want to make sure we're going in 2021 with our business set up. All right, the reason that I decided to put a business class on our calendar is because I wanted to make sure that everybody was actually running their real estate like a business. And I know that there's a lot of us don't know how to properly set up our company to run like a business. So I wanted to make sure. So I got a couple of different things that I'm going to go over. Some of the stuff you may already have in place. If you do, that's great. I just want to make sure that you do have it going in 2021. Since we only a month and a half, can we even say a month and a half? A little bit less than a month and a half before 2021. And I wanted to make sure that everybody has it, everything in place, part of it. So I got some couple areas that we're going to kind of talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about, LLC, what's the difference between an S Corp, what's the difference between just having a regular LLC. We're going to talk about business banking accounts. I'm letting everybody in, y'all. So if y'all see me coming over here. So we're going to be talking about business banking account versus personal banking account. I think that you should have two different accounts. I have several accounts that you should have, and if you don't have all these accounts, just know that as your business grows, you're going to develop into having all these different accounts on it. Then we're going to talk about business account software. I'm going to come over and talk about a couple of software programs that you can have that can help you move a little bit better and be able to track your business. We're going to talk about business email blasts. I'm going to talk about two companies that you can look into about, the holidays are coming out. And I think that every month your clients should get an email blast out from you. And as your company grows and grows, you're not going to be able to send when you send those email blasts, say for the holiday, you have to give them the ability to opt out. And then when you're doing it from your database system, it's not going to give them the ability to opt out. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, CRM system. I want to make sure that you have it and you're ready to go. Do you have it set up on it? So those are the couple of topics that I'm going to kind of talk about. So I'm going to get ready to start in about 1 minute. And we'll talk about a little bit of the business side of real estate. That sound good, y'all?
Sounds good.
I'm good. All right, feel free, if you have any questions as I'm going, you always can stop me and ask me questions. It's that type of atmosphere where you can just ask me. Let me adjust my camera just a tad bit. Get this right. Maybe too high now. started right there. All right. So I'm going to get ready to get started. Like I said, we're going to just run this about an hour. I'll cover some different topics. All right. So welcome to my real estate business Zoom training. Like I said before, the purpose of this class is to make sure that you have a couple things in place for your business so we can run more effectively in 2021 on it. This is not going to be the only class. I'm going to have a series of class. Next month, I'm going to actually bring in a financial advisor, and I'm also going to bring in a tax accountant. I really want to making sure y'all have your business prepared, especially since we got tax season coming up. So we got tax season coming up, so you're going to have a lot of questions during tax season. And the number one thing that happened to most new realtors when they get into real estate is they don't pay their taxes. So I'm going to talk about some things that you can do, the things that I did to help me avoid not having to pay a large tax bill at the end of the year. And I'm going to tell you where I bumped my head at the same time. All right. So let's get started. I feel like in the beginning, the first thing that we need to talk about, I can't talk to you about business and running a business unless we actually properly have it set up like a business. And I told y'all a long time, and sometimes I told y'all this on our business meeting, that I do not like cutting personal checks into your personal name on it. Once again, I'm gonna say that again. I do not like to cut checks into your personal business account. You know, I don't like that. I don't think that's properly, and I don't think that's a great business tool for you to do. All right. So first thing I want to talk about is LLC. Why should we do an LLC on it? One reason is it's a separation between your personal business and your business account. Once again, it's a separation from your personal and business. Personal and business. If I'm out here cutting a check into your regular name, that's bringing your business side into your personal. So say if something was to happen, you go out and somebody choose to sue you. Now they'd be able to sue you on a personal level because your business from real estate is coming into your personal account. So you always want to make sure that you have that level of separation. I just say one step away from your business. So creating that LLC would just basically govern that that money that you have, and so they won't be able to go after your personal and your business at the same time on it. So we all know once you start an LLC, you know, everybody, I think that's the best way. You got several different entities that you should start off with. But I think real estate and the real estate agents should always start off with an LLC part of it. So I'm hoping that each one of you that's on this call already have your LLC. If you don't, it is easy to do an LLC. You can do anything. You can reach out to an attorney, and they can prepare your articles or corporation for your LLC on you and help you get started. So I'm gonna actually send y'all some recommendations on some attorneys that do LLC for y'all, but you need to do that part of it. Now, I feel like in the first couple years of real estate, most real estate agents are going to keep running with their LLC, but it's going to come a period of time, and as your company grow, you want to take advantage of some more tax break. And one of the tax breaks that you can take advantage of, well, let me back it up. The biggest tax that we get as running an LLC and being a real estate agents is self-employment tax. Self-employment tax is the biggest tax. So when you figure out pay your tax bill in 2021, you're going to have a percentage of that is going to be self-employment tax, which is going to be the big bulk on it. Now, as you, like I said before, as your business grow and you have more revenue coming in, you're able to classify your LLC as an S corporation on it. So as you can see up here, I got S corporation right here on it. Now, I think that in real estate, I didn't turn my LLC into an S corporation until probably maybe year 4 or 5. And the reason I didn't, nobody never educated me on tax benefit, of the difference between running it as an LLC and an S corp on it. It is in the later until I got a real good accountant. So one of the things I want to really encourage you is to get a great accountant. Your accountant is going to be your lifesaver right here on it. I have an accountant. love him like he's one of my brothers and everything like that. So once I finally got with a accountant, he sat down with me and really helped me understand what was the difference between running my business as an LLC and running my business as an S corp. Now, let's break it down. S corporation, you can that's actually just with the federal government having them recognize your LLC as an S corporation. And one of the benefits by running your company as an S corporation, you avoid self-employment tax. Like I just said before, self-employment tax is the biggest tax that you will pay when you're running your LLC. That's why your tax bill is so high, because it's self-employment tax. Now, when you convert over into running it as an S corporation, you avoid self-employment taxes on it. So that's a big savings that you get right there from just, hold on, I've got to let all these people in, y'all. Hold on 1 minute. Let all these people in. So that self-employment tax is, I mean, that's really, really a great savings right there on it. So like I said before, I don't think I turned my LLC into and had it recognized as an S corporation to year 5. And that was only because, I didn't have the proper education. So I said, if I ever had a brokerage or, I have any friends that was in real estate, I will tell them the advantage of making sure that they turn their S corporation over, their LLC over into an S corp. Now, sometimes you may not be able to do it in the beginning, because let me tell you what goes along with turning your LLC into an S corporation. So the federal government wants you to pay yourself a monthly reasonable salary. They call it reasonable salary because you can't go in there saying, okay, I'm paying myself, $7,000 a month. That's going to be my salary. No. They want you to pay a reasonable salary. Now, if your income comes in, justify you paying yourself $7,000 a month, that's fine. But you have to, what is called, pay yourself a reasonable salary. So if you're a new agent getting in, of course, you're just getting your business up and going. You may not be able to pay yourself a reasonable salary because you don't have any consistent business. But when you come into the year 2, you may want to look at it and say, okay, this year, 2021, I think that they're going to have a regular flow of income coming in. So I'm going to turn my LLC into an S corporation. And that makes you become an employee of your LLC at that point. You're an employee of your company. That's how you avoid self-employment taxes when you declare that you're an employee of your company. So which means that you pay yourself a reasonable salary, and you'll be able to, you have to document it now too on it. But the biggest thing is you get to avoid self-employment tax, which is the highest taxes that you will get on your taxes when you're running an LLC on it. So any questions on that right there? So that's basically the difference between running your business as a LLC and running your business as an S corp. I hope, my prayer is that each one of you get to the level where you're able to feel comfortable enough and growing and turning your LLC into an S corp. I promise you, it will save you a lot of money on taxes. But once again, like I said before, you have to pay yourself, which is called a reasonable salary. So if you want to come in there and say, okay, I'm gonna pay myself $1,500 a month, that's gonna be my reasonable salary. $1,500 a month is gonna be my reasonable salary. Now you have the ability to pay yourself, which is called a dividend or a bonus. So if you say you pay yourself $1,500 for this month, you can come at the end of the month and say, hey, we did great as a company. I want to pay myself a bonus. Here's another $2,000 I'm going to pay myself. And you'll still be in that good spot of being able to be considered to be a S corporation. So even though they say reasonable salary, it's still ways of getting around it by just paying yourself either a quarterly bonus or a dividends. However you want to do it, you could just say, hey, we had a great month. I feel like I need to pay myself a little bit more than $1,500 a month. But the biggest thing, like I said before, no self-employment taxes on it. So I can't start off in talking about real estate until, I really, really make sure you understand the difference between those two different entities right there on it. The next thing, okay, so once you have started your LLC, please make sure that make sure that you bring it into the office And so we can have it on file right now, because when you first sign your agency agreement with the company, most of y'all are putting your social security number down there. And then now we need to convert it over to handing it to your company. So you'll have to fill out another W-9 form. So make sure you reach out to me for another W-9 form. All right. Let's talk about business banking accounts. Now, get this right. All right, setting up now we have our LLC together, we can now go down to the bank and set up our business banking accounts on it. Now I have several different accounts that I feel like you need to have as a business owner in real estate. Like I said before, you have time to grow in all of these accounts, but once you get your business up and operating, these are some essential accounts that you will have to have in order to effectively run a real estate company on it. All right, the first one I want to talk about is your operating account. And now, of course, your operating account is your account that you regularly pay all your bills. Like you may pay your GAR bills, you may pay your Birmingham MLS bill, you may pay, all the little knickknacks that comes along with you running your business. And also, this is the account that you're going to be paying yourself with, considered to be a reasonable salary on. So when you think about operating, just think about what it takes to actually operate your business. Your dues, gas, all those type of things you're going to pay out of your operating account, a part of it. The next account that I feel like you should have is a business tax savings account. I'm going to stop there right there. The number one mistake that most new realtors make when they first get into real estate is not properly putting back for taxes. Once again, the number one mistake most new realtors make is not properly putting back a tax account. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was guilty of that. I'm a very transparent broker. So when I first got into real estate, boy, I was 24 years old, getting some checks. I wasn't thinking about no taxes. I didn't have no account. I was just out here living the good life and everything like that. So what came in my hand went right out my hand, and I wasn't even worried about putting anything back. Well, at the end of my second year, I got hit with an IRS bill for over $15,000. And that will really wake you up right there. When you get an IRS bill and say, hey, you owe $15,000, we'll set you up for a payment plan. Now, even if you get set up for a payment plan with IRS, the interest that they tack on to that money is ridiculous. So please don't put yourself in that situation. I know it takes discipline. I'm going to show you how I calculate taxes and get me out of this hole. So once I paid that $15,000, I was never caught again like that because I educated myself on it. All right. So the next thing you want to talk about is a reserve account. And now most people always ask me, Jeremy, why do you have a reserve account on it? It's because before I can have a business savings account, which I have directly here, I have to have a reserve account. The purpose of your reserve account is to keep your operating account funded. So you can never have a savings account. And the whole purpose of a savings account is what? To save. So you can't call it a savings account if you're going in there each month and pulling $1,000 out, pulling $500 out, pulling $200 out. That's not a savings account right there. So you have to have a reserve account on it. And I'm going to do a little math on how I break down what goes in a reserve account. We'll go into taxes in 1 minute on it. So the next account, like I told you before, is the tax savings account. We all need a savings account. You need to be able to save. You never know what your business is going to go to. We may come in right now, interest rates are great. But everybody know in business, what goes up must come down. So I want to prepare y'all for when y'all come down, y'all still have some money set aside to be able to continue to operate if we do have a slow period in real estate. And it's in business, every part of business, some goes up, some gonna have to come down. So I want y'all to be prepared on that part right here. So let's do a little math right here. And I'm stopping on the business account. Let me get my phone for my calculator. So if what I do and what I try to do as a real estate agent on it, I wait till the end of the month to tally up all my closings that I had for that month. And we're gonna say that that month I had a total closing of $10,000. All right, so I made, can y'all see that? Y'all good? All right, so I made $10,000 this month. And hold on 1 minute, y'all. Let me get Teresa to do something for me. Hey, Teresa, do me a favor. Bring that ring light. I'm gonna bring a little bit more lighting in here for y'all. All right, so it just say this month right here, at the end of the month, I always calculate up what I made for that full month right there. So at the end of the month, I made $10,000 right here on it. So me as a business person, and I know that I'm running my business, the first thing I'm gonna do, I have an order of how I'm gonna break down that $10,000 on it. So my first order is, I need to pay taxes on it. And if you can get in the mindset to tell yourself, okay, I made $10,000 this month, then the first thing I need to do is pay my taxes on it. So what I used to do is, if I'm paying, I'm just throwing numbers out here, you know, everybody's in a different tax bracket. So if I had $10,000 come in, I'm gonna say, okay, you know, I'm gonna put 25% away for taxes. So let me do 25% of $10,000, which is $2,500. So that's what I need to collect in taxes right there on it. So $10,000 in taxes. So I'm gonna minus all right, so I'm gonna minus $10,000 right there. So I know, that's good right there, thank you. I know, okay, I got my taxes set aside right there. So when I take $10,000 and I minus 2,500, so that leaves me, sorry, yeah, it's late in the afternoon now. Can't do the math of it later. So I got 7,500 right there on it. So I'm left with 7,500 after that point. Okay, so when we're talking about reserve, I think it should always be a certain amount that you want to make sure you always have in reserve on it. Different companies have different amounts that they have inside of their reserve account on it. So if it's your goal to make sure that you at least have 50,000 in your reserve account, you know, you're going to keep on collecting for reserve until you beat that mark. Once you meet that mark, then that money right there will be able to go over into savings account on it. But until then, we're gonna say we haven't met our mark in our reserve account. It could be $10,000. It could be whatever it is on it. And I think, let me back up too. Your operating account, I think that you should create a budget amount that you need to operate on a monthly basis. You can say that, okay, I need a minimum of at least $5,000 in my reserve, my operating account each month. I can pay myself, I can pay my bills, I can pay any kind of bills I have that's associated with running my business. So come up right now in your mindset, what your number is monthly you need to operate your account on here. So we're gonna say, I need $5,000 a month. All right, so now I'm looking at it. I know that I need $5,000 a month to fully run my business. And I'm sitting here right now and I have 7,500. So what's gonna happen? I'm gonna minus $5,000 into my operating account. So I'm gonna leave 5,000 because you know all this money is already in your operating account. So I'm gonna leave $5,000 in my operating account. So which is gonna leave me with 2,500 in my reserve account. So now I'm funding my reserve account. And like I said before, the purpose of your reserve account is to keep your operating account balanced. It may come to a point where your operating account is at only $1,000. You can pull from your reserve account into your operating account to keep it up and going. You can't continue to pull from a savings account on it. So like I said before, You're going to be doing this each month. So that's going to go into your reserve account. Each month going to go into your reserve account. So you can kind of look at your reserve account as like a savings account. Well, now, let me take that back. It's not a savings account. It's a funding account for your operating. Now, once I meet my mark, like I said before, we're going to say our goal was to have a minimum of 15,000 in my reserve account. Because I feel like if I have 15,000 set aside in my reserve account, I'm good. If I have a slow month, I can pull from it. I'll still be good. If I have I'm short by $1,000 that month on paying all my bills, I can pull from here on it. So once I get to the point where I have 15,000 there, then that's when it comes to effect. You have your savings. And then at that point, I start putting money back into my savings. So that's how I go. Now I'm going to back it up. We said that we needed, $5,000 a month in our operating account. And you're saying that you're putting yourself on a reasonable salary, and we're going to say your reasonable salary is $3,000. So out of that $5,000 a month, $3,000 is going to go for you as a paycheck. And the other $2,000 is going to go towards bills. All right, so at this point, you're going to write yourself personally a check in your personal account for $3,000 into your personal account. Now that's your money. That's the money you for your household, your business, whatever you want to do, part of it. That's your money right there from it. That's the business account paying you. Like I said before, in order to create yourself as an S corp, you have to become an employee of your LLC or of your company. And so as your company is going to cut you a check personally for your monthly salary. And I said that our monthly salary is going to be $3,000 a month. Now, on the personal side, I feel like when you do get that $3,000, you still should have a personal savings account. You still should have a personal savings account. So if I'm getting a monthly check of $3,000, I may want to put 10% back into my savings. However amount you put in there, but you still should have a savings account on your personal. Because these are two separate business right here. You got a business savings and you have a personal savings. It's two different things. Don't get it confused on this. It's two different things on it. So even if Norman and Associates is cutting me a check, in which they do, because I'm an employee of Norman and Associates, at that, when I get that check, I immediately take a certain percentage of that check and switch it over to a savings account. So now you on the personal side of things, you have a savings account for your family, just in case something happens. Life happens, your wife may be sick, or your kids may need some extra things. You can't just come in your business account and pull stuff. You can't. This operating account can't be personal. That's the number one thing that a lot of agents mess up. We get these business accounts, but we're running our personal stuff out of our business account. It has to be that level of separation there on it. And you have to be very disciplined to make sure that you're not using your business account for your personal bills. Now, let's back it up. One of the advantages of us being real estate agents is what? We're able to write off transactions. One of the bad things about being a real estate agent, we write off too much on it. But one of the things we are able to do. So I suggest everybody get a company business account, company business credit card.
Jeremy, can you move the camera down a little bit?
Yeah, that's better.
Yep, thanks.
All right. I think that everybody should get a company business account. Of course, in order to get a business credit card, you're going to need a LLC. So it always goes back up to you actually running it on it. So we're going to talk about company business account. I'm just going to stop right there for a minute. A company business credit card is great, but if you don't take advantage of it. Don't take advantage of it. Don't just swiping everything. A lot of things we do get a chance to write off. Now, if I go out to eat, and if it's me and Jordan, I'm writing it off on my business because we're talking about business. If I travel to any place, no matter where it is, I'm going, that's business right there on it. If I go to Hawaii, that's business. Now, for tax purposes, if you ever get audited, you got to show that you did some type of real estate. So if I'm doing and traveling to these different places and stuff like that, and it is business, I'm going to say it's business. I'm going to get brochures from houses or something like that. I'm going to go visit some property, because we are looking to expand. So you see what I'm talking about. Take advantage of these opportunities. I see a lot of y'all out and about going to lunch with each other. And I always wonder, are they paying with a business account or are they paying with their personal account? If you're paying with a personal account, you're not taking advantage and you're not running your company like a business on it. So I encourage each one of you to, whatever bank you're with, apply for a business account. Now, if you got problems on, handling credit cards, please don't apply for one because I don't need you getting no more debt. But if you are disciplined, you need to have a company business account. It's because we're in the industry right now where we go out and we meet a lot of people. So you may meet a potential client and he said, let's talk about it over lunch. Let's talk about it over dinner. Let's go grab coffee. Or you may buy something for your client. You want to have the advantages of writing all that expenses off it. But
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So using a business account, but obviously as a new agent, you don't have, maybe you're not making any money just yet.
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe to just use a business credit card for these transactions? And then, I mean, is that a way to still be able to track it? I mean, it is a business credit card. I mean, although you will probably be paying it with your personal funds, like, would that matter?
No, that won't matter in the beginning, just to get you up and going, and then when you get to the point when you're making money in the business, just pay it with the business account. But no, it's okay to get it started on it. Because I'd rather you have the business credit card and putting everything on there, and you can use your personal to pay it right now because they understand that, if you're new in the business, it's just going to take a minute for you to kind of build up your money to pay for it. So that's okay, all part of it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, but what I wanted y'all to make sure is that remind y'all, make sure y'all taking advantage of this. When you're out and about and you're doing different things, use your business account so we can write those things off on at the end of the year. And I'm gonna talk about some different software in a few minutes that we can use because, you got to be very organized in order to take advantage of some of these write-offs on it. And like I said, please do not commingle these things right here on it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Hey,
I can't hear you. Go ahead. Okay, I think
Hey, Jeremy, I have a question.
Okay.
So when you're going into your bank and you're asking them to set up you a business banking account, do those categories already come with the account, or is it something that like a spreadsheet I have to create?
No. You can name them. So you can go into the bank and you can name what you want your accounts to be. So like I have Norman and Associates operating account. I have Norman and Associates tax savings account. I have Norman and Associates revenue. This online platform allows you to go in there and edit the name of each one of them. So go ahead and create the name for them when you're going in there and creating your business account.
Gotcha. Thank you.
On there.
I have a question, Jeremy.
Go ahead.
When you talk about paying yourself, do you recommend that we set up a payroll through like a payroll company?
Yeah, you gotta set yourself up a payroll. So my accountant, and normally CPAs does payrolls on it, and then you can get some software systems if you're very account friendly, like QuickBooks and things like that. They have payroll where they'll tell you how much you need to deduct for payroll part of it. So you can either get accountant or you can do it through a software system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And we just outsource ours to an accountant. So our accountant does all of our payroll. So we just send our timesheets to him. He tells us that, and he sends us a timesheet exactly how much we need to cut for everything. But the thing is, I want y'all to eventually think about always our goal is to go to an S corp. Every realtor's goal is to go towards an S corp because we're going to avoid self-employment taxes, which is, like I told you before, is the biggest taxes you'll have at the tax season. So in order for us to avoid, we have to declare with the federal government that we're going to run an S corp. Now, the federal government is saying if you're running an S corp, you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary, which means that you're becoming an employee of your company. And as an employee of your company, you need these bank accounts. You need an operating, you need a tax, you need a revenue, and you need savings. We can't have a savings until we have a revenue. Because the revenue is for to do what? Fund your operating. If you have a low month, you pull from your revenue account to keep it going. You can't pull from a savings. It will never be a savings if you keep on pulling. And as a real estate agent, we're going to have months where we have great months and we have slow months. And so we're always going to dibble back into it. So make sure you have that revenue account on it. It may be.
All right. Jeremy, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, good. So my business name is in my name. My LLC is in my complete name. But like along with all my credit cards and everything is in my name. Wouldn't it be considered like still using a part of my business since it is my name if I'm using my credit cards that's in my name?
No, so your credit card, did you open it up as a business account or you open it up as personal?
It's personal.
You need to open it up as a business because you open it up with your social security number. You don't have your tax ID linked to that part. So call that credit card company and see if you can switch it over to your tax ID. Some of them may allow you to switch over to your tax ID number. So that's the difference. Personal, use social security number. Business, EIN number.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So it may seem like a lot of accounts, but it's really not. My whole goal is to make sure y'all save and understand the structure of how you save in real estate on it. If you're not disciplined to do this right here, each month, I know it's hard in the beginning. You live in check to check. I was there on it. I don't care if you put $200 back. Put something back away. You have to be very disciplined. The last thing you want to do is at the end of the year have this big tax savings bill on you. And I'm telling you, the interest rate that they charge on that payment, I hear some agents, well, I just set up a payment. I don't want to give away money. I don't want to be paying them 15% or 10% or, and the balance is going up instead of going down. Don't put yourself in that situation. So it takes discipline, but I believe that you have it. Once I paid that $10,000, I said, I'm not going to give them any more money. I'm going to make sure I don't like owing anybody. I'm a debt free. Our company is debt free. I don't take out any loans or anything like that. We are running a fully debt free company. That's why I don't let y'all push me, because I know this is my personal money that we putting in. It ain't no loans. So debt free. And you should be the same way. Don't go out here and get these. Please don't go out here and get the most expensive car to get caught up in Birmingham and Atlanta life. Get you a reasonable. I had a Honda, and I was rolling in my Honda for a long time, and y'all already know I have a company Camry out there. I'm riding in the Camry. I pull up on it like it's a Lexus on y'all. On it. So be wise, because the end goal is for us to take this money to be able to invest on it. All right, so let's take it a little further. Let's talk about your business accounting software on it. QuickBooks. I think that QuickBooks is a phenomenal way to track your expenses and how much money you have to come in. We cannot run a business, and most of y'all, if I ever ask y'all how much you spent in expenses last year, you cannot tell me. You cannot tell me and how much you actually spent on running your company last year, and that's horrible as a business person right there. You should always be able to tell me or tell whoever asks you that question how much you actually spent last year to run your real estate business. How we need to keep the accounting software there. So I encourage everybody to do QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online, and it's a lot of other accounting software. I don't care what accounting software you get, just get one right here. Please, you have to track this stuff. How are we going to go at the end of the year and when your tax accountant asks you, and trust me, and let me back up real quickly. Please do not use that your little cousin who do taxes, Pookie, and everything like that, get you a CPA. You know, it's a level where we're running a business. Now we need that extra knowledge on the tax side of things. So don't do that person who was doing your taxes while you worked at Taco Bell or something like that. You know, it's levels. Let's elevate up. So let's get us a real CPA who will come up with a tax strategy on how we can write off and what we're going to do. But the first thing that your accountant is going to ask you is, do you have a P&L? And if you don't know what a P&L is, or you don't able to provide them with a P&L, you're running your business freely. You got to have some type of structure in your business. So I suggest everybody to do QuickBooks Online. It's probably about $20 a month. And with $20 a month, you'll have a detail. You'll be able to track your income coming in, minus your expenses, to give you your gross income and give you your net. We all know what net is. Net is actually how much you made after you do your expenses on it. So we need that software, because if you're going out and you're paying this, you at the end of the year, you need to know how much you paid in expenses. That's all the biggest thing I want to tell you. You need to know how much you paid in expenses. All right. Another thing I want to suggest is an app called Genius Scan. Now in real estate, we get the chance to write off a whole lot of stuff, but you got to have receipts for an audit. And so I have this app called Genius Scan, and I'm coming a little closer so y'all can see it. It's a little app right here. I have the ability now to scan each receipt and keep a track record of my receipts. And the reason I like Genius Scan is because we all know you may ball up and put a receipt into your purse or your wallet. It fades over time. And unless you have a copy machine right there by you to scan it and make a copy, this is the most effective tool. So everybody write this down. It's called Genius Scan. Genius Scan. Genius Scan. Write it down. You can take a picture. You can take a picture right there after you start signing the receipt. Take a picture of the receipt, and then you can leave the receipt right there. You don't even have to worry about it. It captures everything, and you can email it. They have the ability that I can email my receipt to my Google Drive, and up on my Google Drive, I have a thing called business receipt. So I can send it directly to my Google Drive, and it's in there. And so if I ever get audited, I could just go into my Google Drive, pull up business receipt. Here you go, sir, right here. I have everything exactly. Any questions on Genius Scan? Please look it up. It's on the App Store. I can't tell you if it costs, but if you do, please pay the cost of it, because it's going to keep you a track. It's going to have your receipts, and you'll be able to write off everything. So if you're in Florida and you're having a good time at the end of the day, you know, half of y'all are not going to save their receipt and go back into the office and then scan it. The biggest thing is scanning it right then and there. Make sure you use Genius Scan. All right, the next thing I want y'all to make sure y'all have is called Miles IQ. Have y'all heard of Miles IQ? Have you heard of Miles IQ?
No.
Okay, what are y'all using to track your miles? Because you know, in real estate, we get a chance to write off what our miles. We're in the car a lot. We're running it from showing to showing. What are y'all using for tracking your mileage?
I have Miles IQ.
Okay, so everybody should look up Miles IQ. MILEIQ. Miles IQ. Please go ahead and pay for the annual subscription of it. I think it's like $30. It's going to track every time you get in the car. You don't have to worry about hitting the little meter and seeing exactly the old school way. And I'm going to date myself. When I first got in real estate, I had a book, and it had the different mileage on it. And I would look and see exactly what I started at the beginning of the day. And at the end of the day, I had to bring my book and write how much mileage I went to. That's the old school way. Miles IQ tracks your mileage. And let me bring this a little closer so y'all can see this. I want y'all to see this on the screen. So Miles IQ gives you the opportunity, and you don't even have, it's always running. So every time you jump in the car, no matter how far you're going to go, it's going to ask you. On the left, it says personal. On the right, it says business. So you can just, for a slip of a button, slide it over and say, that's business. Go to the next one. Oh, that's business. To the next one. And it's going to give you a total. Let me show you what my total was. Let me see my drives. Let's see if I can show you my total. That's November. All right, so as you can see, let's go to 20. Let's see if I can go back to a little bit further. Let me go back, y'all. All right, 2017. I'm just gonna go to my mileage in 2017. You know, I drive a lot from Birmingham and Atlanta. So it's really important for I track my mileage so I can write everything off. So with Miles IQ, it said that I did in November around this time, I did 259 drives in November. I did 4,000 miles, and my Vantage I can write off. You see how much you said I could write off? 21.
I can't see. Hold your phone up.
Okay, y'all can't see it right here. It's a little close. I'm gonna get a little closer. It's tracking how much mileage you can write off. So it's no more guessing how much mileage you wrote. So it's telling me that I was how much I average in mileage, and that makes it easier because your accounting. That's what your accountant is going to ask you for. It's going to say, hey, Jimmy, how many miles you drove in December, January? And you can't just sit there and guess. If you ever go and get audit, you can always bring your app up and you can actually show them and give them a track of every mileage. So just get that app. It's going to help you out. As a real estate agent, Miles IQ is the best mileage app out there. Get it. Pay $30. I promise you, it's worth it. Your $30 will save you thousands of dollars. Just put it like that. So any questions on my 3 different accounting software I feel like we need to have? QuickBooks, Genius Scan, and Miles IQ is very important. QuickBooks, Genius Scan, Miles IQ. You get those 3. Miles IQ is going to save you thousands of dollars. I promise you. If you're looking at it, it's $30 for the whole year. What's $30 versus you saving $3,000 to $4,000 off on your taxes? It's important. Genius Scan is going to help you. If you ever get audit, you're going to have all your receipts. No longer you have to worry about balling your receipt up, putting it in your pocket, going into the office, scanning it on the copy machine. No, we don't do that. That's old school. Scan it with Miles IQ. Genius Scan. And then QuickBooks, you'll need it. You got to document what you're doing. You're out here running, but you don't know how much you spent. You don't know how much it takes you to operate your real estate business. Be intelligent. Understand what goes out. Some have to come in. Look at your P&L. If you don't know what a P&L, profit and loss. People are going to ask you that. What's your P&L? You should know how much you lost, how much you profit, how much came in, how much went out. If you're too heavy on what goes out and we ain't got nothing coming in, we have to make some adjustments. But you'll never know when you got to make adjustments if you don't have accounting software in there. All right, let's talk about the 4th thing I want to talk about. Business email blast. I told y'all each month, I think that each one of your clients should get some type of email, whether it be a holiday email or, a monthly report, some kind of email blast each month for you. Now, we can't consistently send our email blast out through our database system because it doesn't give them the option to opt out. You have to give them the option to opt out. So you have to look into this. I got 2 different providers I want y'all to look into. Y'all may already heard of them. MailChimp is one, and then Constant Contact. Each one of those, I think, are great email platforms. We, as a company right now, we use Constant Contact. They have different, I can rate how much people open them, close, emails. It also I can see when people opting out who don't want to get my email. I had some of my friends opt out, and we ain't friends no more too. Y'all know that. Because I ain't gonna even know that.
MailChimp and Contact.
Yeah, Constant Contact.
Constant Contact.
I had the mother of my child opt out on my thing too. I'm still feel some type of way about her opting out on my emails, but that's a whole nother subject right there on it. So make sure you get that Constant Contact or MailChimp. Play around with them. Each one of them have different pricing. And let me give y'all a little story about that too. We inquired the email list of all the realtors, and this was just the city of Atlanta. And it was over 50,000 emails. And so Karen tried to upload 50,000 emails into Constant Contact, and they red flagged me. And basically they called me and said, hey, Jeremy, we see that you're trying to upload over 50,000 emails. We want to see, do you have permission for all of those emails? And I said, well, can you send us something in writing or something like that? Of course, you know, I let them know that, hey, we just bought this email list from our Georgia Real Estate Commission. And he was like, well, we still need permission. So I wasn't able to upload the 50,000 emails. Now, the way you need to do it is, if you have a big email database, break it down into smaller quantities of uploading them. You know, so that's what we did. We started uploading, you know, 1,000 here, you know, 1,000 here. Don't come into your big systems right here and just upload 12 or 15,000 of email. They're going to ask you for permission. That's just a little tip. I went through it and I was like, oh man, we should have broke it apart. So just break it up. Okay. And that'll help you out a whole lot on it. The last thing I want to talk about, make sure you got your CRM system together. You know, and let's not do all this work right here. And if you don't properly have your CRM system, you don't have your client set up in there, you're not running. This is the heart. Let me see if I can draw a heart. How do I look out? This is the heart of your business right here. Y'all laughing at my heart.
Lord, Father.
This is the heart of your system right here. If you don't properly have your CRM system up, and if you're not going into your CRM system, if you're not feeding your CRM system, what I mean by feeding your CRM system, you're going to have to go out there and prospect. You're going to have to go out there and meet people. If you're not meeting people, now I know that we're in this COVID-19, we can't go out and network. Well, you can still go onto social media and engage with different people on it. You can try to door knock your community where they feel more comfortable because they've seen your face before. But we have to constantly be feeding our CRM system every day. Somebody new, you know, they're building it up on it. But make sure that you have your CRM system to put together. If you want, I did a YouTube video and I put it up on our YouTube page on how to do Lions Desk. I don't care what CRM system you run, make sure that you're actively in it. And this is the heart of our business. So all this doesn't count if we don't have this right here up and going. So any questions on my business class?
So when we're using the email thing, the MailChimp and the Constant Contact, are we going to have to create another email, or can we link it to the Norman and Associate?
No, you're gonna link it to the Norman Associates like it looks like it came from your Norman and Associates. So
Okay.
it don't look like a big group email. It looked like it actually directly come from. And they have different like software in there that help you track and stuff.
So we use the MailChimp and the Constant Contact in addition to the emails that we send out from our CRM.
Correct. The regular emails you send out for your CRM systems to your clients. But when you start prospecting and sending monthly newsletter, you have to give them the option to opt out. So you're going to actually need both of them to send. This is for big group emails right here. Your database system, which you send on your database, and that's if you want to send Jim an email or 2 here, or 3 here, or 4 here, that's fine. But when you're talking about sending over 50 or 100 emails out at one time, you're going to have to get one of those systems to help you out.
Okay, so Lions Desk doesn't give people the option to opt out.
It don't. No CRM system giving them the option.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
That's the biggest difference right there between the two. You got to have the option to opt out. And when you're sending like over 50,000 emails, you know, y'all get those emails and y'all see at the bottom, it give you the option to opt out. You got to have that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you send it something just in your regular database system to your clients or family and friends, that's okay right there. That's not a big group email. That's an individual email.
I use Active Campaign, which is also a CRM, and they do allow you to send out basically everything, all of those systems you can do in one. So you can send out however many thousands of emails. You can set it up on a drip campaign. You can trigger it for their birthday, house anniversary, whatever. And you can send out individual emails as well. So you do have to pay for Active Campaign, but I run all my businesses through Active Campaign.
See, that's another Active Campaign. You know, look into that right there. My thing is, I just wanted to make sure that I understand the biggest thing on how we can save money right here. and some of the systems that we can add to help you out. And please use that formula. If you get all this money and you're closing and you ain't taking that out on taxes, you're setting yourself up to fail. Or you're setting up the IRS. IRS do not give up. Trust me. They put a lien on my property for that $10,000. They do not hesitate. They will find something. They put a lien on your car. And as business owner, I have to do, I'm your broker. I have to make sure I properly tell you how to set it up, you know, and get your different accounts. Make sure you wrote down your different accounts. I recorded this, and so you'll be able to go back and and look at it again on it. So any more questions? So like I said before, this is the beginning. December is going to be about getting ourselves prepared financially and making sure our accounts. So I'm going to have a financial advisor come into one of our business meetings, and I'm going to have a tax savings person come into one of our business meetings. I'm going to make sure y'all understand the importance of saving and how to properly structure everything. Make sure you get a business credit card so you can write off a lot of those things. You know, the advantage of being an entrepreneur, we can write off things. The disadvantage of being an entrepreneur, sometimes we write off too much. You don't want to write off too, like if you plan on buying a house, please do not write off saying that you only made $10,000. Who's gonna give you a loan if you say you only netted $10,000 in a year? But you know, so think about those things. Think about what you have coming up in the future. On if you're gonna buy a house, you're gonna buy a car, or you're gonna invest in something, you have to show that you made some type of money, so you can't write everything off.
That's what I was going to ask. So, because you mentioned earlier about not writing off too much. So, the way that you would do that is writing off more than you profit.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So you need to look and say, okay, what's my goal for 2021? Is my goal to buy a house, buy a car, or do something, an investment? Well, you know you got to go to the bank. And the bank is going to ask you for a copy of your P&L. That's another thing. That's why I say get QuickBooks. If you don't have a P&L, they're going to say, okay, how are you tracking your business? So that's what I'm telling y'all. Get the accounting software system. I don't care what it is. If it's QuickBooks or wherever it is, get your software system so you can track it. So when you do come into the bank, you'll have all of your documents put together and say, hey, this is my P&L. These are my tax returns. I made a profit in my business. I want to get the loan. Versus you coming in there, you don't have no P&L, and you show that you ain't make no money in 2020 because you wrote everything off. Don't write everything off. Balance it. Well, thank y'all for my business account class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That was
Jeremy.
awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I'm in the office. Love, peace, and happiness, and Greece. I don't know what it is.
I need a schedule to come in sometime, like
Call
next
me,
week.
Regina. Call me.
Okay, I'm about to.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
You. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Everybody have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks.